Hi, everyone. Welcome to ACE Talks, the podcast that helps exercise professionals and health coaches excel in their careers. We will give you tips on how to grow your business, network with other professionals, advance your education and training, and design the most effective programs for your clients. And now, on to the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Today, I'm joined by my co-host, Chris Gagliardi, and our super special guest, Charles Friedberg. Chris and I can't wait to get started chatting with Charles because he'll be sharing his thoughts on how to grow your business as an exercise professional using technology. Charles is the CEO and founder of Jijo, which is a virtual studio solution for exercise professionals who are looking to manage and grow their virtual business. And for full disclosure, Jijo is an affiliate partner with ACE. Charles, welcome to the show. First, is there anything about your background you'd like to add? And second, will you please tell us about how you came up with the name Jijo?
First, thank you so much, Sabrina and Chris, for having me on today. I'm really excited about this. Everyone at Jijo is super excited about our partnership with ACE as well. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation. In terms of my background, and I think you and some of the trainers that we've worked with know, clearly, as everyone can see, I am not a fitness guy per se. I've spent the almost entirety of my career in financial services. But when COVID hit, my wife, who works out every day, used to be a gym rat, my sister, who's a former amateur bodybuilder, both of them, by the way, utilize ACE certified trainers, pivoted to Zoom classes. And so as a business professional, I became super interested in the space, began talking to trainers and clients, and saw an opportunity to really help out what we view as the asset of the fitness industry, which are certified trainers. And we created Jijo, which I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about more later. In terms of the name, so, coming up with the name is super hard today. And so when I wanted to come up with a name and worked with other professionals, I had a couple of criteria that we needed to follow. The first is we wanted it to be short, memorable. Even if you mispronounced it, you'd be amazed how many people mispronounce Jijo. Not utilized on the internet. And we wanted it to mean something more than just fitness, right? Because really what we're trying to do is help wellness professionals in total. And so the other part of it is that in college, which is now going back quite some time ago, I minored in Japanese. And Jijo actually means self-reliance or self-help, depending upon the kanji you select. And if you think about what our mission is at Jijo, it is to help both participants help themselves. We want to help trainers to be their own bosses and grow their own business. And we want to help their clients, right, to get the best wellness or health benefits they possibly can through virtual fitness engagement. And so Jijo, the concept of self-help, self-reliance, start with you, which is our tagline. That's where the name came from.
I love it. That all makes perfect sense. Thanks for explaining that for those of us who don't have a college education in Japanese.
It's rare. I'm a child of the 80s, when Japan was, buying everything in the world. And so Japanese was something that I got very, very interested in.
Yeah, that is great, Charles. I really like the emphasis on self-reliance, and I see how it really connects with ACE's mission to get people moving and how we really focus on empowering individuals. So that is great. Thank you, Charles. So because you're here to talk about growing your business using the latest in technology, I want to get right into it. So what do you think are some advantages of delivering personal fitness services using technology?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, even before COVID, what we're doing here now, this virtual interaction has become more commonly accepted, and COVID actually accelerated that acceptance. So the advantages of virtual, especially if you're an independent fitness or a wellness professional, is you can reach anyone anywhere, right? So I can still have a very personalized experience talking to you or working out with you here, but I don't need to be in the room with you. For trainers, it opens up literally the entire world for potential clients. Of course, it requires that you present yourself in the best, in this case, virtual light, but nonetheless, before where an individual trainer was reliant upon a big box or setting up a store or renting out a facility, today that's not required. they can reach anyone, anywhere. And the cost of doing so, especially when considering utilizing services like Gijo, is demonstrably lower. There's no more rent, utilities, renter's insurance. All of those fixed costs go away and can be reinvested in you, your home studio and brand, so long as you can get that reach.
Charles, what, based on what you've just said, it sounds like there are some real opportunities for exercise professionals and Gijo, like specifically ACE certified pros.
So we are super excited about our relationship with ACE. And I think, and Sabrina, Chris, you and I have talked about this in the past offline, but I think what's really been forgotten over the years is that the real asset of the fitness industry are professionals, certified professionals. And we think in an age of virtual fitness, being properly certified is even more important when you are working with someone virtually, to be able to ensure that you're correcting them properly so that people don't get hurt and they get the best impact from that virtual experience. And so not only are we excited about our partnership with ACE, but we want trainers to be our business partners. So we have an exclusive offer for ACE certified trainers, which is if you bring your existing virtual clients over to Gijo, we want to give you equity in Gijo itself. We want you to own a piece of the entire platform just for utilizing Gijo. And that is an offer exclusive to ACE certified professionals and will be available for the next few months.
That's excellent. And it, like you just said, available for the next few months. So it's not something that's going to go on forever, but
Not
it's
indefinitely.
something, but it's something that's worth looking into, because that sounds like a wonderful opportunity.
Absolutely. I mean, there are so many ACE professionals out there that have embraced virtual, but they are still wrestling with the difficulties of Zoom links and PayPal and Venmo. And by the way, the other part too about all of these platforms is that they mostly focus on just classes. You as an ACE certified professional are more than just an hourly employee. You are a respected advisor. And so Gijo is more than just about classes. We provide you with other revenue streams, and really we are a business solution for you to grow your virtual business. And so while we will always welcome ACE certified trainers to the platform, we really want to give those early adopters an opportunity to own a piece of the business just for utilizing the service.
Yeah, that makes good sense. One thing that you said that I really am passionate about, and you know this because I've told you this before,
Yeah.
is you're placing a certain amount of focus on the fact that the exercise professional is the asset in the industry. And one thing that we know about being exercise professionals, because Chris and I are that, we work with clients. We know that being able to communicate with clients on a regular basis and effectively also speaks a lot to helping people with behavior change. So if you've got a great setup in your studio, if you're able to really connect with your clients because the internet works well, or your image is great, and everything is like checking all the boxes in terms of I can see you, I can hear you, I can understand, and we're making that connection. It's that personal connection, the rapport, that really makes training with a person so much different than training with a video that you watch.
AI or someone sending you a program to do offline. It's completely different, right? It's so easy to take that Apple Fitness Plus app and go, I don't want to do the last 10 burpees, and just put it down, right? I mean, it's a lot different if Sabrina is watching me in a video going, Charlie, do the last 10 burpees, right? It's about accountability.
Yeah.
And so live, that's why we think live is so important. There are so many on-demand services or impersonal services like Peloton. Those are great for a limited subset of clients out there. Why a limited? Because the fact of the matter is that most people are not self-accountable or motivating, and they need a professional, a partner to keep them accountable and keep them motivated. But it only works, and you were alluding to this, to the extent that you as a professional put yourself out there in the best possible way. right? We've
Right.
talked to hundreds and hundreds of clients, and almost universally, they all say in rank order of importance, the personal connection with the trainer is most important. I continue to go because I love Sabrina, or I love Chris, or I love Ashley, and she really keeps me going. That far and away is the most important. And so we don't control that. We can help you with that. But what we do want to help you with at GJO is the second most important, which is how you present yourself, right? Making sure that you have a good background setup, enough space, a proper camera. I'll give you a perfect example right now. So I am recording this session right now in a room in my office with no lights on. We on our website have a guide to help professionals determine the types of equipment and the room size and the importance of lighting. This camera, which we provide a link to on our site, literally costs $35. I am also using a $2,000 Lenovo laptop with a built-in 1080p webcam. I'm going to change to that webcam right now, and you will see a demonstrable difference
What?
in the quality of the video. Now, again, a lot of trainers aren't thinking about this, but if you are really working with a client who's looking at you on a phone, or they've put it up on their big screen TV, these differences are demonstrable in terms of how you present yourself as a professional, right? So a $35 camera that I just showed makes a huge difference. Making sure you have a good internet connection so that you're not every word. That is super important. I mean, internet connection is the top of the list. It is basically your connection to the outside world. It's how you're going to reach clients in California and London and Brazil and, God willing, Japan and Asia at one point in time. That is literally your bridge to the outside world. Having a room that has enough size and space for you to move around so you're not constantly fiddling with your camera, right? We just talked about this earlier. You can go on Amazon today and buy a $25 green screen. It makes a huge difference if you want to use a virtual backdrop. Those are just little things that cost less than $100 in total that can make a huge improvement in how your client views you from a professional standpoint.
Yeah, I'm so glad you came on. That's one of the reasons why we wanted you here, in addition to, let everyone know about our affiliate partnership with GJO, but it's because I know you've got this expertise in technology, and these tips that you just laid out for us can also be found on the free guide, right? For
Yep.
exercise professionals, for
We
our
do,
certified pros. Okay.
Yep, we have a virtual guide. Yep.
Okay, excellent. We will put the link to that in the show notes. But so all the stuff that you just said will make a huge difference in quality. And like you said, a client is watching you. If the client perceives, wow, this is great quality, I can really understand and see everything that's going on, it's just going to be such a better experience. So we
Much better.
appreciate.
Absolutely. And by the way, I want to be clear. It doesn't mean that you can't do a workout from your basement. It doesn't mean that you can't conduct classes from your living room. It just means that you need to take some time and attention to make sure that, the laundry basket isn't in the shot, or, that if you have stuff hanging up on the walls, maybe you put up a curtain or something that blocks, your water heater or whatever it is. There are these little things that really make a difference. Lighting, it makes a huge difference. I'm in an unlit room, but I've accounted for that specifically for this chat with a $35 webcam. This is your business. You are your business, and you need to present yourself in the best possible light. And it doesn't take a lot of money to do that.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Charles. I think you've done a great job of helping us understand some of the benefits of allowing technology to support us in our businesses. One of the challenges that many exercise professionals experience, and especially those who are just starting out, of course, is client acquisition. So what are your thoughts on using technology to not only attract clients, but then maintain your services with those clients once they start working with you?
It's a great question. And you actually alluded to this a little bit in one of your earlier questions. So the first thing is client acquisition. And that's where we really try to help our partners who are utilizing Gijo. Gijo is really a dating service. We've set it up almost like a dating service where the trainer comes in, they literally tell us what they think their personality is, the ideal personality of their client, their prices, their availability. The whole platform is designed for the business owner, i.e. the trainer, to communicate who she or he is out to the outside world. We provide you with links that allow unregistered users to see and search for you on the web. You can take those links and put them in social media. You can put them, in emails, whatever it is. But as importantly, one of the services that Gijo provides is client acquisition. We literally match clients to you based on your profiles. So that's step one. And the important part of step one, which we just talked about, is making that amazing first impression, right? Not only being yourself and engaging, but presenting yourself from your home studio in the best possible light. The second thing is retention. So when we talk to trainers, universally, they all told us three things. How do I get more clients? How do I keep those clients for longer, which you just asked me about and I'm about to answer? And how do I stop only getting paid by class fees? The second way that Gijo helps our trainers is through the understanding of incentives. The problem with fitness, and fitness attrition has been the same for 40 years, roughly 25% of people don't make it for 6 months, right? It gets worse going longer, is because the reality is that humans are instant gratification animals. We like things now. Fitness doesn't work that way. Fitness takes time, it takes effort. And in a lot of cases, even after the first couple of weeks, you may not necessarily see the benefits or feel the benefits. One of the things that we've done is to create incentives to help those trainers keep those clients for longer through economics. Gijo will actually pay your clients to work out with you on the platform. So long as your clients stick with you at least once a week, your clients can get instant cash back at over 20,000 merchants in the US for everyday purchases. The only way they can get access to that, though, is by working out with you at least once a week. The benefit of that is not only are we providing an economic incentive for those clients to stick with it and to stick with you longer, but it also meets that third requirement that trainers are looking for, which is another source of income. Because those merchants actually pay Gijo a referral fee every time the client goes to that merchant. And we share that with the trainer. So the trainers now can also get literally a percentage of their clients' credit card spending, so long as they keep their clients working out for longer. So it works both ways.
So that it sounds like you've thought of everything, which is amazing. And it also sounds
Doing our
like
best.
if we're thinking about behavior change principles, which my mind always goes to, because that's kind of my passion and my area of study, is that when you initially start a training or coaching relationship with someone, they're your client, you're probably good to go if you provide them incentives and rewards in the beginning to keep them coming back.
Correct.
And that might start to make that relationship sticky in the beginning. But it's really for long-term and really for self-motivation and self-regulation when it comes to exercise and adherence. It's developing a really solid foundation through a relationship with your trainer or coach, but also that client then has to start to internalize all those motivations. So it sounds to me like you've got the initial stickiness of, come join me with these training sessions. Here are a few rewards to get you started, to keep you coming back. But then once you're back and once you're in there, your relationship with your own trainer or coach is what keeps you coming back. So you've really kind of addressed all those angles, and that's what I like about that.
That's exactly right. Because as you know, if I'm a behavioral finance guy, you've obviously a behavioral change expert yourselves. You know that it takes a certain number of times for people to do something for it to become habitual. Right? It takes a certain amount of workouts for you to start seeing those benefits. What Gijo is doing is exactly what you said. It's giving the trainer time through other powerful incentives, in this case, economics, to keep that client for longer. The other great part about virtual is that there's almost no reason or excuse for the client to say no. They don't have to take a 20-minute drive to a session, right? It's there, it's on your phone. If you're traveling, I took, my first vacation in a year, a couple of weeks ago. I was down in Charleston, and I brought my phone into the hotel gym. I had my mask on, and the trainer was there. I said before I left, I said, I'm going on vacation. And my trainer goes, good, you have Gijo, bring your phone, turn me on, no excuses. And quite frankly, he was right. And it's exactly those things that we are doing to help that trainer get through that initial difficult phase and then allow that personal relationship to blossom. And again, the no excuses of being virtual and available all the time at your convenience, in your home, if you travel, right? That's all tied together in the single solution.
Charles, is the like the length of a session, are there any requirements there? Because I really like what you're saying, and the removal of so many of the barriers we commonly hear. I'm going on vacation, or even geographically being in different areas. But also, what if I only have 15 minutes, or like I don't have enough time for a workout? Can we change it?
Yep. Absolutely. So we currently allow trainers to set up times as quick as 15-minute sessions up to 90-minute sessions. We're rolling out an update pretty soon, and it will be entirely up to the trainer. It can be anywhere from 5 minutes to 90 minutes. And the other thing that we do, which again encourages this constant relationship and no excuses mentality, is every session is automatically recorded and put into a library for their clients to then be able to access at any time going forward. So even if you're in a group session, right, and Sabrina for some reason misses it, the trainer, Chris, Sabrina's trainer, could ping her and say, it's up in the library, go ahead and do it. And remember, if Sabrina doesn't at least work out at least once a week with Chris, in this particular case, she loses access to those economic rewards, right? So there's always these constant reinforcements to help, again, both the trainer and the client.
It really sounds like you thought a lot about this, about both sides, the participant and the coach. And I really think it shows with the stuff you're saying and the technology that you're providing. So that to me is very exciting. Let's see, let's move on now. We've got a lot of things we want to cover, and you've been so gracious with your time, and you've given us so much information already. So I want to respect your time.
No, not at all. I have as much time as you guys need. Again, we look at ACE as the premier organization in our partnership. And so we're willing to spend as much time with you and Chris and the rest of the ACE team as possible.
Wonderful. Well, Chris, do you want to take this next question?
Yeah, I really do want to, and this just really excites me maybe the most. And I know you touched on this a little bit already, Charles, and thank you. But I wanted to ask more specifically about kind of launching that virtual fitness studio, and maybe some more specific tips that you would give someone to create that best experience possible. If I'm the trainer and I'm getting ready to start, because I just find this so insightful.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a very good question. So the first thing, there's really kind of three things you need to think about, right? Which is space, lighting, access to internet, right? Those are the things that you want to do. And the reasons for that are fairly obvious, right? I mean, you need all the hardware, the equipment. It doesn't take a lot, as we were just talking about. But if you have a great setup, but you're operating in a 3x3 foot space, you're not going to be able to show what you're capable of as a coach as you would if you have a bigger space, right? So find a space that is, kind of gives you a 6x6 or 6x10 foot space. Those are really, if you're thinking about it, the minimum. Why? Because what we don't do when we train fitness is what you and I and Sabrina are doing now. We're not 2 feet from the camera. We're much further back. And so you want to be able to be in a position where your entire body, if you move back and forth, if you're doing a HIIT class, if you're on a spin bike, where your whole body is in the camera frame. So you need a space. Again, it can absolutely be your basement. It can be your living room, but it should be 6x10, so forth. It should also probably be at least 8 feet, right? So that is a standard height for almost every room that's built in the United States, other than basements. Some basements are shorter. If that's the case, you're doing HIIT classes, you can't jump, right? You want to be able to have a space that allows you to do what you do best, train. The second thing is lighting. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is taking all these lights and glaring it on them. Lighting should be indirect, right? Because if you actually have light shining directly on you, and I'm going to do an example of that right now, right? If you do a shining light on you right now, it's glare. It makes a bad impression, right? On
It
the other
washes
hand,
you out. Like
it
you're all
washes you
washed
out.
out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Now I have indirect light, right? I'm framed better, right? It's not washing me out. That's a big deal. And then the final, and by the way, there's a lot of ways you can do that. The simplest way to do that, honestly, is as long as you don't have dark walls in your space, you can literally have the light aimed at the wall so that it bounces back off of you, right? That's indirect lighting. You see camera and photo professionals do this all the time where they have the umbrella, right? And the light is actually going against the umbrella and then bouncing onto the subject. Same concept. So you can take, for example, a lamp, and turn the lampshade so that the light is going up against the wall, right? You can take, a standing light and angle it against the wall. There are lots of ways you can do it, so long as it's indirect. And the third, and by far the most important thing, is internet quality. We always stress that if possible, have a direct connection to the internet and don't use Wi-Fi. So most trainers, right, training on your phone, not great. Why? Because the viewable field is so small. You don't want to keep going up to your client, and have your client see you doing this, trying to see you in the view. You want to have a screen and something big enough where you can stay 5-6 feet away from the camera and still train. And so if you have a laptop, a desktop, or something that you're using, that's the most important thing, to have a direct Ethernet connection. If you don't, have the Wi-Fi access point close to where you're training. If you're on one side of your house or apartment and it's all the way on the other side in a different room, separated by brick walls and lots of phones, you're gonna have a bad experience. And more importantly, your client is gonna have a bad experience. So those are the three most important things to consider, Chris. Really making sure that you have the space, lighting so that you're actually showing your best light, literally and figuratively, and great internet.
That's really helpful, Charles. I think I'm actually doing the opposite of everything you just said. So I've been taking notes here, and I really appreciate that.
I'll tell you what, Chris, we'll send you a camera, right? We'll send you, by the way, an Ethernet cord that is 100 feet long, which, by the way, the client will never see. You can get on Amazon for $8, right? This camera is 35.
Yeah. Do you have these types of recommendations on the site or in the guide?
Yep. We actually have a guide that walks you through your virtual class, your virtual studio setup. And then we also have links to recommended microphones, lighting, cameras, all that stuff. Again, none of it is super expensive. We understand that, different people have different means, but we've tried to recommend stuff that's under $100.
That's fantastic. I learned a lot just now. So I really appreciate you really diving a little bit deeper into that. So
yeah, of course.
Everyone benefits from that. So we have a couple more questions for you, but first, is there anything you'd like to share about projects that you're working on or things you're excited about right now? You don't seem like a very excitable guy, so you're not really passionate about anything. Let's see if we can amp that up during this segment.
Yeah, we're very excited about a number of things. I think the most recent feature that we launched on Jijo addressed that third request for, fitness professionals, which is how to get additional streams of income. And, everyone talks about the ability to partner with products, whether they're apparel, equipment, or nutrition products. It's hard for independent professionals to do that. We've eliminated that. Jijo's gone out and struck agreements with nutrition companies, apparel companies, fitness companies, equipment companies, All the trainer needs to do is once they get on the site, we have a partnerships page. They literally click up to 3 of those partnerships, and instantly they will be sent some equipment for free in most cases for them to utilize during their classes. During live classes like you and I have now, those logos, those product logos will be in the bottom right-hand corner of the client's view and on the profile of the trainer. Any of those clients that click through, trainers get 10% of all of their client spend, right? Again, another source of passive income that's super hard for individual trainers to do, but we've enabled for every one of our trainers to get access to on the site. So that's really great. We are also launching our brand new user interface in the second week of August. So one of the things that has been great about the last year, of which it's been a very tough year, but that virtual actually is good and people accept virtual. The difference is if you look at the interface that we're using right now, not great for fitness, right? It's not meant to be 6 feet away. And so we have our own interface that makes it super easy for the trainer to access all of their clients if they're doing group classes. You know, it looks like it has a timer on the bottom. And if you want to create the program that shows the current move and the next move, all of that can be pre-programmed to the benefit of your clients. And so we have our version 2.0 coming out this coming week, as well as native applications for both Android and iOS that'll make the experience even better.
Well, like I said, you thought of everything. That's amazing.
We're trying. We're trying. And again, we're working with folks like yourself and organizations like ACE to, again, the best thing that we can do is listen to trainers and what their needs are and listen to wellness professionals, because that's what we're doing. Our business model, we only get paid if our clients get paid, i.e. our trainers get paid.
Yeah.
Right? We don't charge anything for a wellness professional to come onto the site. We don't charge anything for them to sign up for a partnership. We don't charge anything until they get clients paying them through the site, and we just take a top line split and pay for everything out of that. So the best way that we can improve is to get constant feedback from our wellness professionals, who are the ones that are really utilizing the site.
Yeah, that's powerful, because you can put what you think is an awesome product out there, but if you don't take into consideration the feedback of the people who actually use it, then it's really hard to keep providing what they actually need. So
I'll give you an example of that. So when I was originally working with trainers and clients on coming up with our beta product, one of the things that came up is, hey, if I'm doing workouts in my home, I don't necessarily want everyone, all the other clients in the class to see me, right? I don't want them to see my house. I don't want them to see that I do, as a client, I have my laundry basket on the side, right? But the trainer needs to see you so that the trainer ensures that you're doing things properly and can make corrective suggestions. The problem with Zoom, Google Meet is it's binary. Camera's either on or off. There's no option. But in virtual fitness, the camera always has to be on so the trainer can see you. And so one of the first things we did was we created something called private mode, where a client can choose to only be seen by the trainer or to be seen by everybody. That's not something that's an out of the box feature in Zoom or any of these other things, but it's very specific and needed for virtual fitness. So that's an example of where we did focus groups with clients and trainers, and we came back with what seemed like a very simple feature, but has been one of the most complimented features in our live classes.
Yeah, that's really good. I really like that you take people's feedback into consideration. That's something I always enjoyed about ACE as well. So I'm glad to hear that you're doing that. And I'd like to, my next question for you is something that we really ask all of our guests. And I would like to know if you would tell us the best 2 to 3 decisions you've ever made related to advancing your own career.
Yes. Okay. So I would say the probably one of the best decisions I ever made was taking a public speaking course. You know, the ability to communicate effectively, to be effusive, to come across as someone who's very passionate. And I happen to be passionate about anything that I try to do, but to be able to communicate in a way that anyone could really understand is super important. And by the way, I would recommend this for fitness instructors and wellness trainers as well. You are the product. The way you communicate is the product. And most people, you've probably read this over and over again, the biggest fear in life they have more than dying is public speaking. That is literally the job description of a fitness professional. That's what you need to do. And it's interesting when you look at feedback on Peloton or any of these other very high-end, highly curated platforms. That is what those programs and platforms look for. It is an effusive, engaging, vibrant individual who's comfortable in front of groups. So, Chris, that was probably the biggest thing that I did, was the ability to do public speaking and be very comfortable with it. I would say the second biggest decision that I made, and I will say that it's mostly worked out, although I will argue also that sometimes it hasn't, is to be direct and honest. Right? My objective in business and in career is to get to the right answer. It's not necessarily my answer, but it's the right answer. And that means to be able to have honest, direct engagement with someone. So I will tell you that I am not a very politically correct person when it comes to having genuine conversations with folks. I just tell it the way I think it is. If I'm wrong, totally fine. But I try to get directly to the point. And I would say, generally speaking, Chris, that has helped me out. And then the third, and I don't know if this is a decision I've made, but it's certainly been a decision that I've supported myself with, which is I am a natural contrarian. I naturally question things. Right? So if someone says the sky is blue, I want to think, well, why isn't it green? Like, what is the reason why it's not green? I don't necessarily think it's green, but I want to make a challenge to that. Right? And so I think it's helped me, for example, in fitness. In fitness, I'm an outsider. And so I think taking a slightly different approach to the business has helped in this particular case, as it has in much of my career. Right? Thinking different is a positive. And so I've really embraced that, as opposed to try to tamp down those gut reactions.
That's really helpful, Charles. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah. So the next question that we have for you, and really it's the last question, and you've already touched on it perhaps a little bit, but I want to know if maybe you have something more specific for our ACE certified professionals. So the question is, please give our audience the best advice you have from your perspective, of course. And we all understand that you're not inside fitness, but for your perspective, something that you think an ACE certified professional can do to advance their career today.
Sure. So I think the first thing that, and I say this to everyone, which is allow your inner self to come out. Right? You have to be able to present yourself, your passion for fitness, to engage your clients. That really is, I think, the most important thing for a fitness professional in the virtual world, because you're not standing next to the person. There's no physical contact, right? So all you can rely upon is your communicative abilities.
Yeah,
that's
and
it.
In some ways, you have to work a little harder at that.
100%.
Because of the virtual. Yeah.
100%. And so again, I point to the question that Chris just asked, becoming comfortable, being effusive, allowing your personality to come out. That's the most important thing you can do. The second thing I would say is to believe in yourself. You've gone through the process. You've gotten the ACE certifications. You are the pro, right? That is something that people need to understand. It's funny. And my family are physicians. I have a bunch of physicians in my family. And with the advent of the internet, and I guarantee this is the same situation in fitness, everybody thinks they know everything. Everybody goes in their doctor and says, well, I think I have this, or what about this medication? What about that? I guarantee you it's the same for fitness professionals, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. I don't need to do that. I need to focus on this, or I need to focus on that. No, you're the professional. Believe in yourself, right? And take control of those relationships, because at the end of the day, the client's going to benefit. And then the third is invest in your virtual studio, right? If you're going to embrace virtual, take the time and effort to make sure that after your personality, that the presentation of yourself is as good as you can possibly do. Those are the three things that I would recommend for ACE certified professionals today. Other than use GJO, but those are the three.
So good. So good.
I have a little follow-up to that, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
So So I'm intimidated by technology.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do it. It seems overwhelming and complicated.
Yeah.
And is it as good as meeting with people face to face? Like, what kind of advice or what do you have to say about that?
So I'm going to unpack that because there's really two things there. The first question is, I'm not good with technology. How do I get good at technology, or do I need to? And the second is virtual versus in person, right? So on the technology side, look, it's not hard. And the reason why it's not hard is because we've eliminated all the app downloads and all the links and all of the dealing with Venmo or PayPal. You don't have to do any of that as a trainer anymore. You come on to Gijo, literally, you create your schedule like you would in Google Calendar. People sign up, you can share you press share. You don't have to do anything. Again, if you have an iPad and a good Wi-Fi connection and you set that iPad far enough away, you're good to go. No downloads, no links, no nothing. So even most trainers, look, trainers are experts at one thing, training. They're not IT professionals. That's why we created our technology the way we did. So that's the first thing. You can do it. There is no question you can do it, right? If we have, seniors that are using the platform, right? If somebody who came around when there were still rotary phones can access Gijo and have no problems working out at home, you as a certified professional can do it, no question. The second question really get to, Chris, is how is it ever going to replace live? Or is it worse or better than live? And the answer to that question is it's not better or worse. It's not mutually exclusive. No one's suggesting that there's only going to be virtual, right? There is going to be a hybrid model going forward. And you as an ACE certified professional, you should do both, no question. Now, there are some trainers who fully embrace virtual because they can do more in less time over virtual. We have many trainers that have converted their entire business to virtual. We have many trainers who said, I'm never going to do that. I like being with people. I like having that. But don't limit yourself. If you do live in person, you're limited to your geographic location. Virtual extends that. You're always going to have downtime in a live practice. Virtual eliminates that. You can fill in your live time, right? So it's not a matter of, is it better or worse? In any case, it's a complement. And that's what we stress to folks. It doesn't have to be if or.
That's great. Thank you, Charles.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I really enjoy the nuance of, it's not all this thing or that thing. And
Yeah,
it's
not all or none.
also, and it's not mutually exclusive, and one's not necessarily better than the other, but one might be necessary in a pandemic, for example. So
Absolutely.
if you got options, then I think you're a more well-rounded professional because you can offer the clients what they need at the times that they need it.
Absolutely. Look, not everybody has time to come into a gym. Not everybody has access to a gym, right? I mean, again, virtual opens up the potential number of clients you can have, irrespective of your argument, right? If you are a big believer in live fitness, in-person fitness, fantastic. But you're never going to get a client from across the country or in another country. Virtual, by definition, opens the entire world up to you. And I think what's really changed, and maybe this is a good place to end, is what's really changed with virtual fitness is it has given the power back to the independent instructor.
Yes.
That is a fundamental change in the industry. The power is now coming to the rightful owner of that, the people doing the work, not the big box gym that controls literally the storefront. It is now yours to control. It's your business, and virtual enables that if you embrace it. But it doesn't, like you said, Sabrina, it's not mutually exclusive. If anything, it should help build the business and enhance your business. And for those that want to fully embrace it, fantastic.
Yeah. Well, that's a great, like you said, great place to end it. I really couldn't have said it any better than that. Charles, thank you for joining us today. And thank you, everyone, for sharing part of your day with us.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been great. Thank you so much for having me, Sabrina and Chris. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you, Charles.
Wonderful. And that's a wrap.
This podcast was recorded and is being made available by the American Council on Exercise, ACE, solely for informational purposes. The information, statements, comments, views, and opinions provided in this podcast are not necessarily those of ACE and may not be current. ACE does not make any representation or warranty as to the accuracy or completeness of any of the information, statements, comments, views, and opinions provided in this podcast, and any liability therefore is expressly disclaimed. The content here should not be taken as medical advice. As content here is for informational purposes only, listeners should consult their healthcare professional for any medical questions.